Arizona beat San Francisco after the 49ers were up 23-10 at halftime. So the 49ers did not score a single point down the stretch. Here's the stat that I think defined this game. I think it hit 97 degrees out on the field. Well, James Conner, Arizona's running back, had 9 rushing yards in the first half, and then he had 77 rushing yards in the second half. So the 49ers, they're actually playing the standard run game really well in the first half. I know Kyler Murray had the longest touchdown run of his career, but that was on a read option. The standard run game, the James Conner 49ers were getting nice push, stopping that in the first half. They're up 23-10. They head to the second half, and they're not getting that same push, especially as this game dragged on. As the fourth quarter started, I said the 49ers are entering big-time danger zone here because, A, they've got to hold on to a lead, and they're exhausted. They've got to find a way to muscle through it better than Arizona. They obviously didn't do that. But B, the 49ers also wanted to get through it because they have another game on Thursday against the Seattle Seahawks on the road. So this was always going to be a tough 2-game set. Now they're going to have to do it with the taste of defeat in their mouth coming off of this game against Arizona. But I mean, where do we start? We could start on, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball first. 49ers, the biggest play as far as lost win probability for San Francisco was when Jordan Mason fumbled the footballs. The 49ers were approaching the end zone. Jake Moody got hurt, ankle injury in the first half, which meant that San Francisco was playing without a kicker. That obviously crippled them and some of their strategic play calling and decision making as this game went along. So they badly needed a touchdown. They were ailing there toward the end. I mean, the heat was affecting everybody. I think there was a play on third down where Brandon Ayuk exited the game, so the 49ers had to put Trent Taylor and Ronnie Bell into the game. Brock Purdy threw to George Kittle, who muscled his way to a first down, and the 49ers were in good position to score the touchdown that they were going to need to score, given the kicking issues, but Jordan Mason fumbled. And at that point, you give Arizona the ball with an exhausted defense, and the Cardinals almost just ran out the clock going the other direction. The 49ers did muscle up, to their credit, enough when they were using their timeouts to force the field goal and give the offense one more chance, but it probably would have had to been a touchdown going the other way for San Francisco because of the kicking situation. Great safety blitz came in by the Arizona Cardinals, and that safety blitz got to Brock Purdy before he was able to release the football, and the game ended with an interception. So you go back to that Jordan Mason fumble. It's why ball security is so important, so important. That Jordan Mason fumble, probably the single play that hurt the 49ers the most in this game. And obviously the Jake Moody injury play early on. In general, San Francisco's offense today, too sloppy. This was not a good Arizona defense, and they were shut out in the second half. I counted at least 4 drops in this football game. I thought that the 49ers were working with plenty of space offensively, and they didn't take use of that space. They did run the ball effectively too, but obviously they didn't turn that rushing success into success on the scoreboard the way that Arizona was able to do down the stretch of this football game. So the 49ers just weren't able to put things together the way that they normally do. On the positive side, Brandon Ayuk went 8 for 147 today. So Brandon Ayuk, his first 100-yard receiving performance since signing the new contract, the first one since New Year's Eve last year against the Washington Commanders. So he's looking like he's rounding into form. We expected that around October. We thought he might need around the length of training camp, which was the month of September, to get into things. So Ayuk delivering out there. George Kittle's delivering out there. I know Juwan Jennings hurt his hand early in this game, so that probably is why he wasn't getting as many targets. But the 49ers were still unable to deliver anything cohesive beyond halftime in this game. And remember that they got the big benefit of the field goal block for a touchdown from Jordan Elliott in the first half. So they actually had special teams help them in the first half. But then, of course, the special teams injury to Jake Moody did hurt them down the stretch because it had limited and pigeonholed them into what they were going to run. But in general, offense way too sloppy. Offense needs to be a whole lot better against bad defenses. And Arizona's fooling nobody. This is not a good defense that was able to limit the 49ers today. And maybe it was the 49ers' own accord, right, with some of those drops in this football game. You have to give Roy Lopez, the defensive lineman, credit on that Purdy interception. He got his hand up in the air. That's a good play. Deflected interceptions, they happen. The 49ers still, though, were in position to overcome it, but then came the fumble to Jordan Mason. Other critical drops in this game did come back to bite them. On the defensive side of the ball, Kyler Murray had the 50-yard touchdown, which is the longest of his career, on the read option on like the second or third play of the game. How you're not ready for a Kyler Murray read option, I don't understand. I mean, that's on Nick Sorensen. That's on the 49ers defense as a whole. But Kyler Murray is a quarterback that threatens to run the read option a lot, and the 49ers weren't ready for that, so immediately they spot the Cardinals 7 points. That's unacceptable. And it didn't seem that they were particularly ready for a read option late in the game either, at a time when the Cardinals were definitely committed to the run game. It's one thing to be completely exhausted, 97-degree day, you can't stop James Conner, it's a 220-pound load, but schematically you've got to be in position to stop the Kyler Murray read option. And they couldn't on that game-winning field goal drive at the end. So that, to me, obviously Nick Sorensen still growing on the job, but there have been some schematic deficiencies from the 49ers against the run, which are alarming, that they do need to absolutely clean up. I know you don't play Kyler Murray every week, but this week they got burned by those. I wouldn't read too far into the second half run struggles because it was 97 degrees out there. You do expect the run defense to erode. But to make up for that, you either need the offense to pull a little bit more weight, especially with the kicker out, or you need to make some plays on pass defense. And they had one chance to truly get out of Dodge on that final drive after the Devondre Campbell pass breakup on third down. And they brought another blitz on fourth down. And what we saw was Marvin Harrison Jr. catch a fadeaway pass, a big lob from Kyler Murray into the coverage of Isaac Yiadom. So the 49ers could not get off the field in that situation. It's just not a dominant defense at this point. It wasn't going to be a dominant defense, I think, down the stretch of this football game, given the conditions. They needed their offense to give them a little bit more, and their offense gave them nothing as far as points in the second half. Obviously aided by the fact, or I shouldn't say aided by the fact, obviously also hurt by the fact that they didn't have Jake Moody. So a mess of an afternoon for the 49ers. They are now 2-3. They're going to have to wash this taste out of their mouths very, very quickly, though, because they have to play at Seattle on Thursday night. It's going to be tough on their bodies. I know Seattle just played right now. They're playing the New York Giants. Did they win or lose, Mike? Let me know. I've been getting texts about that. But this is going to be a quick turnaround for the 49ers. They've got practice probably on Tuesday. It's going to be more of a walkthrough. They're going to fly up to the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday, and they're going to be scratching and clawing to trying to get back up to 3-3. Sometimes you like a game to come this quickly after a loss, especially after a division loss, to, again, wipe that taste away, but it's going to be physically challenging for the 49ers. Still fairly early in the season. They're 2-3 at this point. A lot of the same issues that we've talked about. The team needs to become a little more crisp offensively, especially in the red zone. I think that returning Christian McCaffrey is obviously a huge deal in that regard. They're not getting the separation that they need to get in the red zone, and I think losing the gravitational pull of Christian McCaffrey has definitely been a factor there. And they just have to play better complementary ball. There were some good examples of complementary football today. After the tipped interception from Roy Lopez, the defense held strong, but the offense just kept putting the defense out into too many compromised positions late in the heat, and the 49ers ended up wilting. So they're 2-3. They move forward, looking to get back to 3-3 next week. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint, so there really isn't any reason to freak out at this point, but the 49ers have these issues and this big puzzle that they're trying to build, and they haven't quite gotten all the pieces into the right spot yet. And that's what the focus is going to be this week as they enter that big game against Seattle. All right, I'm off to the 49ers locker room here from the equipment room at Levi's Stadium. We'll talk to everybody soon. A little historical reference. 49ers in 1988, they lost the game to the Arizona Cardinals. Back then they were called the Phoenix Cardinals by the same score that they lost today, 24-23. They were up in that game 23-0. They blew that lead, all of it, and they lost 24-23 in the final minutes of that game. Bill Walsh actually broke his rib in that game. He got run into on a punt on the sideline. 49ers ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. I think that loss might have actually dropped them to a losing record or something close to it. Right now, this loss drops the 49ers to 2-3. Still early in the season, though, and they're going to have to find a similar way to bounce back. I think they got a lot of good pieces. You look at Brandon Ayuk resurrecting today, the 8 catches for 147 yards, but boy, you just got to put it together if you're the 49ers in a more complimentary way than they have put it together for most of the games this year. That's why they have a losing record, but they've got another game against Seattle on Thursday. We'll talk to you guys soon.